What's up, everybody? How's it going? We are here tonight with some more LSL League matches. Tonight's first match, we have Seattle Legion versus Ohio Scarlet. We are back. Sitting next to me virtually is Magni. I'm Refresh. What's up, Magni? How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Got off work not too long ago. Was just thinking like, hey, I just gotta get through work, and then I get to cast some hopefully good Call of Duty matches or a match tonight. I'm all here for the first one.
Yeah, we'll see. The first one's gonna be Seattle Legion versus Ohio Scarlet. I know some people definitely have Ohio favorited here, but me and myself are rooting for Seattle Legion. Come on, baby, let's go Seattle. See some good
Uh,
matches.
I definitely think Ohio takes it, but I think it's gonna be a close series. I
Oh,
definitely could see this going Game 5.
yeah, whatever, dude. Seattle's gonna win.
Well, we're just gonna have to be divided today, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna have to hate you, dude. Just kidding. No. If some of you guys don't know, I'm a Seattle sports fan through and through. So every time there's a Seattle team, I'm ride or die. I don't care who's on it, even though they're all not from Seattle. Whatever, dude. Let's go.
I mean, oh, it's hopefully going to be good. I mean, Ohio's had a lot of roster changes after they take over the spot from Vancouver. Or no, this is the wrong Ohio team. My bad. No, this is the Ohio team. This is a really good team. Hopefully, it's just going to be clear cut for them. I think Seattle takes probably an S&D and an overload. Just because those two modes can kind of get mixy, and I think Seattle just has a good pace for S&D. So hopefully we see some kind of competitive matches, but in the respawn, it's going to be all Scarlet. It's that team's just very, very good.
Yeah, we shall see. We're gonna take a look at this map set now that we have going on. It's gonna be Den. Guess what? Den. Then we got exposure and a raid. So 3 dens back to back to back. I mean, you guys know how I feel about it.
I mean, it's kind of just bland, but also, I guess both sides just really like Din, and it's gonna be whoever the better Din team is. Because if it's a 3-0 and it just seems like, Ohio's better on Din, then we never really know if it was just the map or if it was just the actual team. And so hopefully, if you're Seattle, you just like Din a lot.
Yeah. You gotta hope if you're Seattle that Den is your preferred map because you're gonna have to play it 3 times. It looks like they're gonna get me in the lobby already. I love it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of Den tonight. Like I said, I'll be curious to see how that search and destroy goes. I feel like we see a lot of trades on the search and destroy. We saw 1-3-0 last night, but I mean, search and destroy, man, that's always a pretty mixy mode.
And like recently, and honestly, from week one, a lot of the times the team that wins map one doesn't come out and win map two. It normally is a 3-1. Obviously, there's a little bit of skewed statistics with the 3-0s of, I know Las Vegas has a 3-0. Like you said, there was a 3-0 last night, but it's been more 3-1s, 3-2s, and normally that first 2 maps get split between the teams.
Yeah, the first 2 maps definitely do get split a lot of times. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look and see what these rosters are. I'm looking for my pen. I actually, you guys don't know this, but I actually write down notes a lot. So it looks like we're gonna have Spectre, Stussimo, who's it? J Flow, and Radical. Oh wait, no. So Recap, Wiz, Remedy, and Radical are all playing for Seattle, and it looks like we're waiting for one Ohio player to come in. So as soon as they come in, I will let you guys know what that squad's gonna be. But yeah, I'm just looking for the Seattle team to turn up. I think if they're gonna win, hopefully they do. I think if they're gonna win, they're gonna have to do it fast. Catch this team off guard, play quick, make sure your guns are up. I know there's some couple of role changes. I've been talking to some of the Seattle people. There have been some role changes, so maybe that might help a little bit, but you never can bank too much on that.
Yeah, it just the worst case scenario for Seattle here is that they go out and they just get mollywopped like 100-point clubs. So at minimum, if you're Seattle, you want to keep enough momentum and not let momentum get to Ohio's side for the S&D and kind of keep it close and keep it competitive. But realistically, the goal is just to win the map.
Yeah.
But it would help with morale going into map 2.
Yeah, I see some Brandon hybrid in there. Let's go Seahawks. You're right. You're right. But yeah, that's why I'm wearing the. If you guys don't know, I'm wearing the blue and black tonight. You know, I gotta. Yeah, I told people, but I told people in production, I'm totally biased. Totally biased this series. Every time I get to commentate Seattle. Last week I didn't, but I was in the background with palm on my head, dude.
Well, I guess we're not going to talk about the NFL then, because you know you might hate me after I make that comment.
Wait, you're a 49ers fan or something?
No, I just think the Rams are going to win.
Oh, I think so too. I'm a realistic fan. Yeah, I'm realistic.
Okay, that's fair.
yeah. I'm a realistic fan. Yeah, no, I hope Seattle wins everything, but I'm realistic. I was much rather them play the Bears than the other Rams.
Yeah, I mean, we still waiting on somebody.
No, it looks like they're in. So it looks like you're going to have Spectre, Stussy, J-Flow, and KB tonight is going to round out your Ohio squad versus Recap, Wiz, Remedy, and Radical. Honestly, yeah, you're gonna have to stuff these ARs here on Ohio. Ohio's gonna have more of a dominant AR presence on the map, and on a map like Den, where, I mean, that can be pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, you could also say the same thing about the SMGs, because I just think J-Flow matches up better than anybody on Seattle. And so it's one of the, like, you have to make sure that if you see J-Flow or you're pushing around like spots where subs will sit, Seattle has to think like, hey, if I'm going to round this corner, there's a chance a sub's going to be sitting here. I need to pre-aim it or pre-fire it. And if they do that, they'll be fine. They'll catch J-Flow and some awkward corners. If they don't do that, then J-Flow is just going to run rampant.
Yeah, J-Flow is definitely going to be one of those players out to watch. Is there anybody from Seattle that you kind of have an eye out for, or are you just kind of hoping that they're holding on to the handles?
I think Recap has a really good shot. If they're going to win the series, it's going to be Recap going off. Because normally Remedy and Radical, you know what game they're like bringing and how they're going to play. And so Recap and Wiz is more of a OBJ, so Recap going into the hill, getting taken down. It's 1-for-1 trade off of P1. Wiz is getting good side spawn. He's going to catch a player in the back, but
yeah, Wiz just a little bit too slow there. I mean, a lot of this is going to be up to, like, I think we've seen a lot of these maps actually rely really heavily on this P1 to P2 transition. You can't allow teams to get too much time off of this P1. It can be so deadly, and like just like Ohio, they're starting to break in over that side. You have KV and Spectre spawning over here. Recap's gonna get stunned, covering the eyes, just praying that this player doesn't chow.
Yeah, Seattle prioritized scrap there as Recap gets a huge kill, but it caused them to spawn out and let Ohio get back P2 spawns, and Seattle's just gonna say, yeah, you can have those spawns, we're gonna take them right back as soon as the hill pops. It's gonna be a 3v1 near hill, but Seattle just doesn't get the reinforcements there, and it's gonna be an overtaking by Ohio.
Yeah, they were able to get spawns there for a little bit, but those nades, those tack usage from Ohio is such a big deal. I mean, there's no trophies earned just yet. Remedy playing super patient in the couch doorway here. Gonna wait for teammates to spawn on in. Decent break here from Seattle. Seattle actually looked pretty coordinated breaking into that P2. You are gonna have some mixed arrows though. Hopefully the callouts come in. Let's see, J-Flow pushing up in the couches. Gonna back up your teammate. Oh, those are big damaging kills there.
Right now, Recap is 6-3, most hill time, or second most hill time on his team, and it's what's keeping them in this. But J-Flow, like I said, just gonna be sitting in a corner. They don't check it. He doesn't even get one. He misses his shots. Recap gets one, and it's gonna be a fight for P3.
Yeah, this is going to be a big fight for P3. The P2 was pretty mixy. The lead not too far ahead in Ohio, but the map just started. Decent kills there from Seattle. I feel like Seattle right now has decent coordination when it comes to breaks. I feel like as soon as they get into the point, there's a little bit of a mix-up, maybe some miscommunication where you kind of see those arrows turn every which way. But as far as like actually getting these breaks, Seattle's not looking too bad and keeping this game close.
They're prioritizing spawn a lot better than Ohio. Ohio's kind of just being like, we'll get around the hill and we'll just do like they just did and brute force their way in. And that's why there's a 50-50 split here almost with time. As Wiz gets too middle, it makes it to where nobody really has control for a full hill, and it leads to an almost tied game going into P4.
Yeah, I think this seems to be the map of breaking, right? And we see teams initially get this grab, but I think it's going to be the team that gets the rotation and holds the rotation. I feel like both these teams have just been like breaking into the point. See, we see 2 kills already favored in the Seattle. One of those was in the back lobby as well. So you might see some mixy arrows, and just like that, Remedy is going to spawn on that lobby side. Yeah, so I mean, Seattle again forces some funky spawns, kind of catches Ohio off guard, but now look, Seattle's pretty well set up. They're gonna have to get some kills, and Ohio's gonna break right back in. Like, both of these teams are really struggling to actually hold this point.
Yeah, there might just be some miscommunication in the setup, because right now Ohio have a good setup, but they're not reading really where the pressure's coming from, and they just go 3 down, potentially lose the scrap time. And it's because they just let too many people push out. They're not playing tight enough. And that's what's allowing both teams to just break kills over and over and over again.
Yeah, so going into this second rotation, we're going to have an exactly tie game at 83. Mo is going to pick up 2 in the background. J-Flow picking up a nice kill there with the Dravik. The Dravik's looking good. Both weapons receiving a nerf recently, so I'll be curious to see how the meta transforms. I know there's been some talks of possibly getting rid of the M15 as far as the meta weapon goes. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how these players kind of play through the updates.
I normally stay unbiased on these type of things, but if you use the Mirage and you're willing to use that in comp, you need to rethink your comp, because that gun is less. But going back to the game, sorry. It's going to be Ohio with P2 spawns, but Seattle's going to be pushing from the front. He doesn't see him go to the right there. He picks up 1. It's just going to be on Ohio's getting the spawns, and it is 1 player from Seattle City here trying to contest hill. Gets 1, but just help doesn't get there in time.
Yeah, help doesn't get there in time. You're going to have Stussy all the way in the back trying to get shots in these players. Radical's going to pick up that first kill. I feel like the difference between these winning teams, especially in this league, are as how much time these teams are getting off of this P1. I mean, I've been saying it over and over again. I mean, you cannot be letting these teams get 40 seconds, 50 seconds off of that P1, because right now, that's where that difference is coming in, and they're able to rotate over into this P2 as well and get this time. Even though Seattle has spawns, they're just not able to break in this time. It feels like Ohio finally starting to communicate a little bit better here.
Yeah, the first rotation, Ohio heavily outplayed Seattle, but it was a tie game, and now we kind of see the game opening up a little bit because Ohio is playing better around those setups, that first initial wave of kills, and they're also rotating on keeping Seattle where exactly they want them to spawn. And even with Stussy just sitting mid holding P1, it's like running into a brick wall that you just don't have enough outlet.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely struggling quite a bit now. The slays for Ohio are just a bit too much. I mean, you have J-Flow 16-9 with a minute and 23. You have 18-10 too, 18-11 with a minute. I mean, they're just splitting these slays up pretty even. And then Spectre 21-12. I wish the Codcaster wasn't broken, because I'm really trying to spectate them and it just won't let me.
Yeah, I mean, whatever he's doing, he is popping off almost double positive. Still has almost a minute in hill time. It's making it to where his teammates can just play where they want to, push out. And while Seattle's going to get the scrap time here, it might put them over 100 and make them avoid the 100-point club. But they're still going to be down almost 100 going into this P4, where Spectre's just running and gunning, getting control, making them spawn out even further with that block on Dojo. It's going to be really hard to touch this hill for Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's going to be in a difficult position. It's going to be that number 6 arrow, J-Flow. J-Flow is in a really good position. However, they are going to get cleaned up over in server. Seattle is going to break on into this point. Slays looking to go their way. Recap in a big gunfight on this server side to play their life, kind of play the corner. See if they can get on the heady. Wiz picking up a nice kill. Good chance for Seattle with a little bit of life here. Ooh, that's a big 2-piece. Who is that? Mo big three, gonna leave Remedy on an island. Remedy gonna have to clutch up here if you see those blue arrows flood in, and that's exactly what Remedy's gonna do. Buy their teammates some time. However, the teammates are not picking up any of those kills. Time still going in favor of Ohio.
Yeah, they push in and they break. Like, I was completely wrong in them being, like, hard for them to touch this hill. They just keep getting the slaves where they need to. It's just they never have spawns, and so Ohio have those quick spawns to be able to flood hill, and it led to most of the contested time, with Ohio winning the majority of the time.
Oh! Okay. That was nice.
Well, yeah, they're just gunning.
Yeah, I mean, the game not too far gone if you're Seattle, but again, this P1 super deadly here from Ohio. Ohio has been doing such a great job on holding it, already halfway through the point, and they're starting to extend the lead all the way back up to 100. So yeah, I feel like this is your pain point right here if you're Seattle. The rotation from P1 to P2 is like a really bad struggle right now, and you just can't let it get out of control, especially in a hill that should be contested.
Number one's taking a route right now through top roofs, but that should have happened 30, 40 seconds ago. They were all kind of just flooding through the same 2 lanes, and so it made it for Ohio to be able to kind of, like, hold easier as Wiz just pops a 2-piece, gets P2 control, and if you're Seattle, you're just having to hope that you play perfect pod. Wiz pushing out. Can he find the second? He does. Spectre doesn't get the kill. It opens up the front for Seattle, but it gives Ohio the back spawn, and that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be super dangerous there, and that'll probably be game, especially if both of these players fall. It's going to be really hard for anybody from Seattle to get there in time and really make a meaningful impact. You're going to have Radical trying to bust in. They're going to fall from the pistol. Yeah, and that should be a game done and dusted. It's the P1 to P2, man. That's really what killed them on that first map. That's the only time you really saw them take a lead, like really take it.
Besides that second P2 where they held a lot of time, Seattle did a really good job at breaking, but like you said, the P1 to P2, after that first rotation, it was all Ohio. That was really the main difference in the game, was 2 hills. And so when you're Seattle and you're looking back at it and you're thinking, what could we have done differently? You just have to focus more on taking routes and trying to play for the spawns. If you're going to give up P1, there's at such a time where they have control, they're holding headies, they're solid in their setup, and you're not going to break it. You just got to stop flooding hill and get a spawn.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of control too came over to like where that dojo side is, that P3 side, that ledge. That's just such a good angle. You can catch people coming outside of server side. You can catch people coming outside of broken. You can play pretty ratty right there. And really the only thing that can kind of stop you is like a good level of tax. And I feel like Ohio just had better usage of grenades and tax in general. Even with trophies are down, they were shooting trophies off the ground. They were really more aware of like the actual situation with tax. Seattle did show some life as far as like breaking into like a surprising P4 when we thought Ohio had a complete setup. But again, it's that P1. That P1's so important, and that's where, in my eyes, Ohio played the best on that map, is on that P1.
If you're other teams in the league and you're struggling with P1, watch back the VOD of how Ohio does it.
Yeah.
They just showed basically a master class of you pick a side, you get a majority of the time, and then you rotate if you're first there. And so if I'm other teams, I'm following that to a T.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see how like a slowed down match. I think the Den is a good test for Seattle here. They didn't look too bad on the Den. I feel like they actually looked pretty decent. Some would say surprisingly decent in some areas of the map. But yeah, no, we shall see. We shall see. I mean, what are your predictions for the search and destroy?
6-2 Ohio.
6-2 Ohio. Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but Spectre, he's good at S&D. J-Flow, if you let him get ratty, if you're not playing for him or just blind hard counter him, he's a tough guy to go against. But Seattle has the opportunity. They have a lot of good teamwork that they showed off in that map 1 by being able to break Ohio a bunch of times. And so when it comes to the setups and the breaking and not being able just to take random routes, Seattle might be able to come out and maybe disrupt a few setups that Ohio has up their sleeve.
We shall see. It looks like we have a new. Yeah, building a new lobby, trying to get into the den for map number 2. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch some Search and Destroy. I really like Search and Destroy. I like Den. I think Den's a fine map for it as well.
At least it's not exposure.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like exposure?
It's just, it's so hard to like predict where everybody's going to come from, because if you're just, for example, going solar side, you have to look at basically 3 different levels.
Mm.
And there's headies from deep that once you get past that P2 tank, you have to worry about that as well after you already clear bottom and top solar. And so it just being a super like slide to a heady map, it's just boring to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of really deep lanes. People kind of getting caught over on that P5 side. We're going to be loading into the den for map number 2 on Search and Destroy. Seattle looking to tie up the series. Ohio Scarlet up 1-0 so far, winning that first hard point out pretty dominantly. Was close for a little while, especially for the first half.
Yeah, we didn't see Seattle break as many times in that second and third rotation, and that's what kept them in it to make it to where it was more of a scrappy map. But they couldn't do it after Ohio kind of got in the groove of the game, made a little bit of mid-game adjustments. You saw the second rotation, they were pushing out, holding lanes. It wasn't confusion on who was watching what, and it paid off with just their lead continuing to grow.
Here we are into the Search and Destroy. I'm going to hop on board with we're going to mostly watch this Ohio squad because the codcaster was broken that last match. I wasn't really able to spectate them efficiently. So we're going to keep our eyes on them and see how they play in the S&D. Obviously, if you see anyone popping off from Seattle, we'll hop on over to them. Spectre trying to get a couple shots across 10. Bomb is going to be going down on B. Recap's going to be the one planting that. A lot of fire exchange over here on this dojo side.
Yeah, number 8, KB, is huge here. He doesn't see number 2. He does. He gets a few shots at him, but it just that help from mid from Seattle doesn't come fast enough and 2 fall, and it puts Ohio at a numbers advantage, just trying to find out these last 2 people. This last person lets himself be known, gets killed, defuse. Ohio take the first round.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate timing there from the Seattle players. They kind of had a decent setup, even though it was 2v3. However, when that first player died, it forced that second player to kind of reveal themselves. Ohio winning that first round of defense. So you won the defense. You're going to be swapping on over to offense. Big kills there.
That first round just shows how big mid-map control is for this map. Just because you can flank, you can go B, and it all takes about the same time. And so if you're Seattle, you have to make that adjustment now before you just let Ohio take over mid and essentially take over a third of the map.
Yeah, we're going to hop on board with J-Flow. J-Flow starting off the map 2-0. Stussy is going to be picking up the bomb, going to be your designated bomb carrier for this round. J-Flow taking a couple of shots over there from top red. Who is that? Number 4, Recap. All the way around this player. Going to have to kind of push up fast. Timing here is a little bit awkward. Loses sights. Wiz picks up J-Flow for the first blood.
Yeah, that was huge there. Ohio doesn't send anybody mid. Leaves a free flank open through mid and allows them to cut us around this B point. Number 4 never pushed all the way through. And so it's just immediate 2, a 3v1, all down to Spectre. Spectre have bomb. It doesn't matter. He's dead top window. Just whatever Ohio was doing that round, they were just running into Seattle guns, and it worked for Seattle.
I think the big difference is like you said it before. I think it's that control over in the middle of the map. I mean, Ohio didn't really have a presence. They had someone top broken. Seattle sent someone deep on the flank and kind of forced that middle of the map open. And if you're going to play on that dojo side, and that's really the side that you're going to see these teams play most, unless you see like a crazy or like late round wrap, that B bomb site, you need control of mid. It's so important.
I mean, even if you just send one person to keep that guy flying through mid, because if you go through mid, you can flank either A or B, and we're gonna see a B or an A push here. And Radical falls off the map.
Yeah, that sucks, and that's going to give out a lot of info, too. Someone falls off the map, there's only one area you could do it at. Recap, holy moly. Trying not to fall off the map as well. A little bit of a misleading button presses there. Yeah, I mean, that was just a flub of a round if you're Seattle. Hopefully you don't take that one too serious.
Yeah, the true first blood also came from KB with the sniper, so that is one of Ohio's sniper lives. So we might have to look at him next round to see kind of where he pushes with that and if he gets anything or opens up anything in the map.
Go ahead and scroll on through. Yeah, very strange. We were just talking about how like you don't really want to play on that side of the map unless you need to. They hit that, player falls off the map, and look, Ohio even had the read on it too. They had 2 arrows over there as well. So interesting plays. But we got the recon here from Remedy. Remedy going to be poking out on this side of the map. Going to whiff a shot, but you at least get some info. J-Flow picking up a big kill over on the A side, and now this number 2 arrow has to watch the wrap.
Yeah, it just becomes they have only one side of B, but because you don't have anybody truly mid, they get the plant down for free, can play their side. Playing in a man disadvantage, Seattle's going to have to try to figure out some kind of opening to get a kill here to make this round more winnable. And as I say that, KB just puts one straight into the dome of a Seattle player.
Yeah, and then the other 2 fall on the back. KB was hard scoping that cut, and I don't know who it was on the wrap, but they ran right into the barrel of KB. Oh, fun stuff.
That's like one of those clips you see on TikTok that like the guy runs on the screen, and it's just like the intermission elevator music, and it'll just be like, "We'll be right back." Yeah. That's what that reminded me of.
KB 3-1. I mean, J-Flow right now on a 4 streak, 6-1. Gonna be showing off the weapon skin there. But KB with the sniper rifle, hitting over on this B side.
Seattle, you need Radical to get involved. And as I say, that Spectre gets the first blood on Remedy. It makes it to where the B side is at SO with KB looking over with a sniper, grabs the face of Wiz, and just takes it off.
Yeah, Radical's in the back, 0-4, now 0-5. Not able to do anything. Ohio turning it up here on Den in the search and destroy. Yeah, I mean, if you're Seattle, you're going to be looking at this series. You lose 1 on Den, you have to play 2 more, right? You're about to lose the second, and you're going to have to play this map again. And you can't have any control of the middle of the map.
Like we talked about before the map, like I was mentioning, it's going to be whoever's better at Den, and right now it's looking like Ohio. 4-1 in the S&D. KB's looking really hard to kill with the sniper. As soon as he sees somebody, he kills them. If you're Seattle, you have to make a change, and make a change now.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's running smoke over here on the Seattle side. It looks like you're going to have a large B hit there. KB getting smoked out by a teammate there. Not able to get a sight on that player. Going to finally fall. That's going to be Remedy. Stussy picking up one, looking for another one. That player at Radical is just going to pop out. 0-6 right now. You really, really need to get active on this map. You do not want to be dropping a donut in front of all of your, in front of all your homies, man. Like, come on, get a kill.
Yeah, it's really what's holding them back. This map is just because when Ohio pushes something, it's
such a long
Radical not getting a kill. But Recap with the big brain IQ plays and the 1v2 gonna wrap back Dojo and run into these Ohio players. Does he read this, or does Ohio just get a free kill and go 5-1? He gets one. Does he get the second?
Oh no!
He gets him. Like, I think he was one shot.
Yeah, he had to have been a bullet. He got 4 hit markers. I think even a headshot involved in there too. I mean, we'll find out here. How weak was Spectre? Yeah, he's 1 bullet. Yeah, really good reticle placement there from Spectre. Just kind of shooting that player as they were coming over from the other side of the wall, already pre-firing them. Yeah, that was good reticle placement.
Yeah, he got lucky on predicting the side, and then it was just, he slid right into it.
Radical needs to eat that donut, at least turn it into a breadstick. 5-1 right now on the search and destroy. Remedy and J-Flow are going to go ahead and straight up trade with the sniper rifles. I like that. That's pretty interesting. But now the info should be coming across that all these players are here. Gonna hop on board a Radical. Radical 0-6. 3v3. Bomb is planted for Seattle. Radical watching Dragon. Ooh, just kidding. Gonna watch the wrap. You have 2 people watching this wrap. I do not like it. You do not have any. Yeah, there you go.
Number 7, Stasi's just clearing everything he can. Doesn't clear the inner.
Hey!
A quick trade.
Oh!
In Seattle, get on the board.
Yeah.
Second round.
And
hey, all I am going to say is I said a 6-2.
You did say 6-2. You did say 6-2. Radical finally picking up 2 kills, and both those kills come in this round to keep them alive. Seattle in a pinch right now. Trying to play the best COD that they can against this Ohio team. This Ohio team looking super strong. Snipers trading out that last round. There should be no more snipers on the map.
That's going to open up a lot more because smokes are still going to be used. You just don't have that overwhelming threat of like, am I going to get sniped? Now you can shoulder peek thing with a little bit more confidence. Not just get ripped off. As I say that, J-Flow just ripped somebody in Ohio. Looked to be like just slamming B here. Seattle has the setup for it, but do they read the right quarter? Do they read the play here? And they're just going to let bomb go down.
Yeah, J-Flow's about to catch a player off guard here. I think there's a player, maybe a top window. Kind of hard to tell. Yeah, there they are. That's going to be Radical. Not able to see. J-Flow is just staring at them. Gonna take the shot. 2v4. No mid-map control for Seattle. And that's, I mean, the Wiz is going to have to clutch a 1v4, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it was the same problem from round 1. It was whoever got mid-map control and played through it was really the one winning the round. And after that first round, it was all Ohio.
Yeah, after that, yeah, like you said, after the first round, it was definitely all them. They traded rounds, just those first 2, but then it got real rough, real fast. J-Flow going to be your Slay leader there. J-Flow taking the MVP of map number 2. I like it. I think Radical, I mean, these Seattle players, they just took way too late to get involved into the action.
Yeah, you could just tell that the comms from Ohio were just a little faster, and maybe just because, you know, they've been playing together for a little bit, they just have more trust, because you would kind of see some hesitation where you would think a call out would come in, and then it would be 1 or 2 seconds, and then it would move, and it looked like Ohio was just moving on all the information they had.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of Call of Duty, right? Is how fast can you react on the info? Call of Duty is a very fast-paced game. Even Search and Destroy, you got to be able to like really get in the mix and figure everything out. And I feel like Ohio just had a way better grip of what exactly was going on the map. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the series layout here in front of us. An okay hard point there for Seattle, but they fall quite a bit short. And then we go on to the search. I mean, Ohio absolutely ripped them on the search and destroy. What do you think about the overload? I mean, this is looking really rough for Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, if Seattle can get a little bit of map control and not have to 2v1 chow anything and can win some square up gunfights, this overload could go their way. But if the map control keeps going the way that we saw in the after the first rotation of map 1 and all of map 2, it's going to be really hard for Seattle to really get anything going, with Ohio being able to get in their setups and it not really being disrupted all too much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for them to really make anything work on this map. But I think we're going to go ahead and keep host the same. So we should be rolling into the Den overload here pretty soon once the settings get set. I mean, what do you think Seattle's going to have to do to take it?
I want to see them knowing when to push and when to wrap back and play new ball, because even if they do start scoring, if they don't play overextension, because a lot of the time the EMP spawns out on the other side of the map, if you don't have one person just sitting there playing that OE and at least stopping them to where you can get back and play defense, it's every time they cap, they're just going to get counter capped. And so that's really for both teams, is just knowing the flow of overload, because it's a lot different than control, because control played a lot like hardpoint. It was, here's your 2 zones, either capture or defend them. And now we have kind of a moving objective with 2 central points of capture. And it brings you back to capture the flag with 2 score zones basically, and it shows a skill gap just because you can't just run around and gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the middle of the map right here has just definitely been the most important factor for both of these two teams, and we saw it in both examples, right? We saw it in the hardpoint and the search and destroy. Whoever controls that middle flow controls the map. And especially in a game type like Overload, like if you can center yourself well and be able to play defense on both sides, like be able to easily wrap back or push forward on both sides, I think Ohio is going to cause some serious issues for Seattle if Seattle cannot get a hold of the middle of the map. It's going to look impossible.
So another thing that I want to see both sides trying to do is when you're spawning Dragon or back Dojo and you have to score on the other side of the map, I want to see a lot of teams push left side and get into that office building, because if you have mid control and you have that cut control, it's just easily being able to relay if you can time it right and you get lucky with the spawns and you can make it to where you just immediately get that spawn P3 and then just run in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be ideal. That's in a perfect world, and we haven't seen a lot too many players play that far ahead, but I think as the game starts to kind of unfold and people really start to figure out how to play this new game mode and really play these new maps, I think that's exactly the type of strategy that people will be implementing. I mean, that part of the map's so important, right?
Czech did it very well when Las Vegas Dream played. Off the rip, he pushes through P3, gets into that back cap area, goes on like a 6 or 7 spree before he's killed. And because his teammates can get pushed up with him, he's just killing them in their spawn once they get that first wave and they just hold it. And that's almost like a prime example of how you should be playing that left side. Just because there's VOD of it. Czech just didn't get killed out of that back building.
Looks like we're going to go ahead and hop into the map number 3. Possibly the last map of the series. We shall see if Seattle can bounce back from those 2 pretty big losses on this same exact map. Not ideal.
Yeah, J-Flow just slid right by Recap. Recap kills the guy who picks up his bomb. But there's no trades there. There's no control. It's Seattle just got to play defense here. KB's going to hold it, waiting for his team. And we're going to look to see maybe to either wrap or just push forward. But Seattle have to get pushed out on the map. They can't move up.
Yeah, Seattle having a hard time on this map. Only one player really left alive in a position to make a difference. Mo is going to be picking that up. The score is going to be going in. That's KB on a fork streak with an overload cap. And now being a really, really big problem in the spawn here of Seattle.
Yeah, but as he's being the problem, Seattle's just going to take it. That should be a free B cap because Ohio doesn't win the rotation to wrap back. And like I was saying, those counter caps are so huge. But Ohio just get 3 clear up for spawn. And they're pushed up into Seattle spawn. Stussy does get taken out. But number 8, KB is just going to be sitting there watching all of these players run to B, giving the info to his teammates. And they're just going to be sitting on EMT waiting for a wave of kills.
Yeah, I think that shows the value of this like middle to dojo side map controller, right? If teams are allowing you to just kind of run through jumps and get the cap, there's got to be some importance to that other side of the map. But as we say that, I mean, Radical's going to get pushed up. Seattle get 3 down. Because Radical's going to get pushed up, it's going to put J-Flow in an awkward situation here, trying to get 1 kill. You're going to have a pinch of people here. Wiz not able to jump it in. Radical gonna get stuck on the wall. Remedy, last one alive for Seattle. Finds 2, finds 3. Gonna pick up the device in A. Get the cap as well. They go up here in this first half of the overload.
Yeah, they're playing better on the extensions and rotating. It's Ohio's just running and trying to get points in the map, and it seems like Seattle maybe have found their groove on Den. But J-Flow just starts wiping mid-map, takes away all the control Seattle has. And it looks like Ohio's going to try to set up for potentially a wrap left here, but that goes to waste with KB dying. It's going to be Ohio just trying to figure out what part of the map opens and what Seattle gets up.
Yeah, big nade there from Recap. Recap throwing a nade over the top of the wall. Nobody really in possession of this EMP device. This EMP is going to be mid. J-Flow in honestly a position you should be expecting them to see them. I feel like they've been here time and time again on this map, just chilling underneath that broken window, waiting for someone to fly out. I feel like J-Flow's been such a big problem every single time. Every single time they're in that position, it's been an issue.
Just looking at the scoreboard, like if you take away the middle, what of the score actually is, and you're just looking at the kills, you would expect Ohio to be up 3-0. But they're going to tie the game up 2-2, free wrap through left side. But if you're Seattle, being outslayed as much as you are with only one person on the team being like even, you're going to take a 2-2 tie right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to take a 2-2 tie. KB, that's the second 5 streak that they've had. Second 5 streak life that they've had so far on this map in this mode. So, I mean, KB being super, super effective on getting some slays on the map. 13 and 5 with that initial overload cap as well. J-Flow going to be looking to get in a position, play a little bit of defense here. Nobody picks up the EMP there from Seattle. I mean, I don't think they want that to reset. They do all of this work on this side of the map. EMP's going to reset. Mo's going to be in an interesting spot here to get kind of pushed up. I mean, I feel like someone from Seattle maybe should have picked up there. They were trying to work that side of the map, and now they have to completely wrap all the way around back. And because of it, Mo's going to get here first, going to pick up 1 kill, not causing the issue for the second. But, yeah, very interesting play there from Seattle. I don't know, maybe miscommunication?
Yeah, it just didn't look like anybody wanted to move, and as they were trying to push through middle when they were wrapping the left side, just nobody pushed back through P2, and it lets Dusty get to a spot, and luckily he got traded. But it's just the setups, they're more relying. KB just knifing Radical. It's knifing will never not be funny in Call of Duty.
Yeah, that is for sure. But it tied 2 at the end of the first half. This time is going to be extended by 30 seconds. Going to be KB pushing up forward again, looking for their third 5 streak. They're going to get their third 5 streak in the game, and then it's going to go on into halftime. That EMP device is going to drop.
Yeah, Ohio just had to pick somewhere and kind of push it, but they never did. They were going to go B, and then they wrapped it through mid, and they just didn't have any control of back spawns, and KB just kind of tried to go solo dolo with the device. And once you drop it, it's not a 30-second in general. It's you have 30 seconds for whoever's carrying the bomb. So once that bomb drops, the half's over.
Possibly the last half of the series here for Ohio. If they can clutch it out, you're going to be looking at KB still on a 5 streak. Has streaks in the back pocket. Didn't use them in that first round. Saving it for a rainy day here in Den. Gonna pick up 1. Gonna pick up a nice little second kill. Now on a 7 streak. Gonna be pushing over into A, but you see some middle map control on the arrows. I mean, look at these red arrows, man. They're flooding all over middle. You're gonna see number 6 go ahead and pull out. J-Flow gonna be your front runner here as Mo follows them up.
I would have liked KB to kind of stay back and maybe use his streak there because he was 1 off.
Yeah.
Maybe try to get some info. But just push it up there when you're 1 off another streak. It would have been so much more util, and it maybe would have cleared up a push for there. But Seattle gets the 3 down. Bomb carrier's by himself with nobody back dojo. This could be really disastrous for Seattle if they don't get back in time. And they're just getting cut mid. They're getting cut down everywhere. But number 3 comes out from back patio, and maybe...
Yeah, that's going to be Remedy. Picks up a nice 2-piece. That number 3 arrow, Radical, also picking up a big kill there. Oh. Big counts here. A lot of big exchanges going on. I mean, the scores... I mean, if you look at the slang right now, especially with how KB is playing, you would think, right, it wouldn't be 2-2.
Yeah, Seattle just did a really good job with some of those relay caps and counter caps. But it's all kind of Ohio right now in the kill feed. But even with that, Seattle does get pushed up past the 50-yard line.
Remedy just picked up a big kill.
Yeah, that was huge. But somebody has to get in front of this bomb carrier. Bomb carrier cannot be the first in this fight.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play. You're going to give over possession on over to Ohio. I think Radical was with the EMP there. Maybe got a little bit too anxious. But now you're going to have Spectre. Spectre's going to try to get pushed up on the map to try to be the first one out. But it looks like they're going to fake hit B and then wrap to A. And nobody really going to be in a position except for Remedy picking up a big two-piece. Going to have to run this and fast, too, if they're going to try to beat. Yeah, they're just going to run into a pinch.
Yeah, both sides are kind of, their bomb carriers are getting caught alone a lot in overload that can't happen just because that pistol is so much worse than like regular guns. And as I say that, Spectre just gunned Radical in Ohio, look to be trying to push through the right side, just banging their head against the wall, and the wall's giving up right now because Ohio is just pushing into Dojo, getting what they want, dip, dive, dodge, just running around all the bullets.
Big stun.
They just can't die.
That stun util, I don't know who it was. I'm going to assume it was Remedy. Yeah, Remedy did pick up that nade kill. That was really big. Getting that stop there for Seattle. Stuns, man, they keep players weak. They keep players from moving. They're so big and they're so important. I mean, we could easily see this overload come down to a sudden death. I mean, this is pretty back and forth over here on the Dojo side. But any crazy arrows over here from Ohio? Nope. Pretty straightforward Call of Duty. You do have Remedy wrapping into the back of these players, looking for some big kills. Oh, man. Oh, no. Who was that? Who was that? Yeah, I mean, Ohio just picked it up in a crazy position, but Wiz, with the heads-up play, able to get the defense.
Yeah, it just seems like Seattle they got those two just good timing caps, and they slayed out well, and they're just playing better defense right now because Ohio wins about 75% of the map control, but once it gets into the spawn, as we see KB just taking a dive off the map, I know that man misses Playster.
Yeah, Mo. Yeah, and yeah, dude, just stay on the mat, dude. Clay falling off the map was always comedy. But look at this big wrap. Who is that? KB going to be pushing up on the map. Mo going to be on a 5 streak, looking to get this ball capped as well. Nice headshots there on the recap. A lot of blue arrows. You're going to see a funnel here of players. 2 Ohio players are going to fall. You are going to have, interesting, you are going to have EMP in hand. You almost kind of want to keep it out of hands because in about 15 seconds, you're going to be kind of trolling if you have it in your hands. Unless you get a cap, you have to get a cap here.
I mean, Ohio trolled the cap right there. This game could be over. But again, they just let the bomb carrier be the first one.
What is happening?
And it's the same thing here. The person with the bomb should not be the first one into gun. It's costing both sides.
I'm going to stop you there. I actually don't mind that player dying because, look, now you're in sudden death and you have every single player out with the main weapon. If you have the EMP in that moment, you're basically playing 3v4. That streak is finally going to come out here now from KB. KB is going to use it. They're going to streak middle of the map. They're looking for somebody, anybody. Going to wrap it all the way around the back. Ends up in someone's backyard. Oh, but they picked it up.
Yeah, if you're gonna die off of it, maybe they see it opening, but Ohio's just doing a really good job of now knowing, like, hey, they have to push to us.
Mo picking up a big, first blood, we'll call it, right? In the sudden death. Those players are going to wrap on over to the P2 side, and I think this is such an interesting play. You're trying to bait and trade these players out. Oh no, Radical picking up a team kill. Radical gonna fall. Remedy, okay, so now Ohio has EMP. They can cap or kill here.
Yeah, it's just bang out a gun, or bang out one side and win your trades. Remedy picks up Spectre, but he just got 52, and it's gonna be an even trade. Picking up bomb there, or EMP in overtime is so interesting just because, like, you get notified where the EMP carrier is, so now not only in that you have just a big target above your head as well.
So I have a curious question about the rules. Okay, so Seattle picks up the EMP device. If that time ticks over, it's 4 alive. Does it just go by slays, or like how does the win determine there?
I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never been in a situation where overtime runs out.
Look at that non-traded kills. 28 from KB, 36 and 17.
4,100 damage. That's what's crazy is he was just putting damage into anybody and everybody. And if he was getting the kill, he was getting the kill. If not, he was setting up one of his teammates for sliding into somebody that was weak. And so that was honestly what caused the whole change of pace of that map, was just because KB was running rampant.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if KV wasn't getting that many kills, maybe Seattle takes that den. I mean, I feel like that was like the big factor there. But yeah, that was very interesting there. The end plays, the option of picking up the EMP versus not picking up the EMP.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in a man advantage situation, sure, but 4v4 with still over a minute left in overtime, um, I feel like that's just, it maybe is one of those blunders that they just didn't remember it was overtime. It was just like, hey, we have bomb clear, let's pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very interesting moment. It looks like we are going to get confirmation that KB is going to be MVP. In my notes, I had them written down on both respawns. Obviously, JFlo played phenomenal in the search and destroy, so shout out to JFlo in the search.
Yeah.
We're going to try.
Maybe it was just, watching him play sometimes is just so fun to watch, just because of the angles he holds and how many times he just predicts stuff right.
Yeah. Yeah, KV was just an absolute wall, and they were sitting in super ratty spots too.
Yeah, there were so many times, like I said before the series started, JFlo was just going to be sitting in the corner, and either they were going to check it and pre-fire it and kill him, or if he was just going to get free kills. And there was a lot of times in that S&D where he was just sitting in an off corner waiting for somebody to run by, and he would snag a kill.
It looks like we are going to get KB in here for an interview. They were just kind of waiting for them.
Just waiting for the drag.
Just waiting for the drag and drop. KB, what's up?
How's it going, boys?
How you doing?
Good.
How you feeling, man? After that 3-0 and a handshake, man, that was rough to watch.
I mean, it feels good, man. We've been putting in the work for sure. I mean, these guys are freaking amazing, and we've been scrimming a lot and going over VOD together as a team. All you could ask for.
Is there?
Going through.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Magni.
I was just gonna be one of the main things that I kind of noticed about that series is y'all kind of turned it up after the first rotation and hardpoint. What were the comms like after the first rotation where y'all were tied 83-83?
Well, I mean, Stussy's our IGL, and he's fantastic at it. I mean, he kind of just gets us in line. We were a little bit frantic to begin with, but I mean, he always kind of like recenters us and puts us all in the same mindset for the same goal. And like, we know what to do. It just sometimes takes that one person to be like, to focus, you know?
Yeah,
That
definitely.
was really the only thing I was wondering about, just because the rest of the series is kind of clean cut. That was really the only time I kind of maybe thought y'all were a little bit, underperforming based off of how y'all played before, or maybe Seattle just came out and threw y'all a loop. But after that, it was very much y'all were playing y'all's game, and it was just going in y'all's favor.
I mean, yeah, just early game jitters, you know. We get a little excited, start losing focus a little bit, but Stussy brings us back to center, you know.
Yeah, you guys definitely play really well. The search and destroy was really dominant from you. Shout out to JFlo. JFlo really took over that map, especially in the middle. I mean, you guys played Den 3 times in a row, and I feel like the big difference we were talking about, the big difference between your team and a lot of other teams is your guys' emphasis on mid-map importance. I mean, is that often are you guys often talking about that while you're calling out?
I mean, yeah, definitely. And then we kind of just let JFlo go rogue, and we've just gotten good at, waiting for him to make a play or not overchalling. You know, we don't have to immediately put the bomb down. But yeah, definitely just communicating and waiting for hits. JFlo was slaying out that map like crazy.
Yeah, I'd watch the man run and then go into a corner and wait for somebody to run in front of him, and they just didn't expect for him to be there.
Yeah, he's common all of that stuff to us. He's common everything. He's like, I'm behind one mid, like just wait for me. Like, and yeah, my team's fantastic, man. It makes it easy for me.
I think that's all the questions and comments I have.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything. I mean, your next match coming up is going to be against DC. It looks like that's going to be next week on the 28th. Is there anything that you're excited for? Anything that you're looking out, or who are you looking to fry?
I mean, I don't have anybody. That's a good team. We just need to, keep our heads down and then focus. We've been really grinding it. So, I mean, just keeping up with scrims, keeping up with comms. There are a couple maps we need to work on. I won't say which ones. And lock in for the next series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really interested to watch that series. I think that's going to be probably the best series of that week. So yeah, thank you so much for stopping by for an interview. Go celebrate with the homies, and then we'll see you next week, man. Good luck.
Yeah,
Congrats
appreciate
on
it,
the
gentlemen.
MVP.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, Magni, good stuff there out of KB. KB well deserving of that MVP spot. But now it's that time you're leaving us, man.
Yeah, I know. Y'all got another series, and I got some stuff to do, but it was really fun. Always a pleasure to cast with you, Refresh. Hopefully the next series is just as entertaining, if not more. And I'll see y'all later.
All right, thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to a quick little intermission. When we get back, Boston versus Raleigh. See you guys soon.